Mr. President, on a separate topic, I want to address the Trump tariff tax. Trump tariff tax. It started this week. It's already changing not only the economy of the United States, but the world. It's been a reckless undertaking, creating pure chaos. I received a phone call yesterday from a business leader. I won't identify him, but he was desperate. He said to me, President Trump and his people don't understand a supply chain. I'm not selling T-shirts, he said. I'm selling sophisticated products that require chemicals and electronics that are rare to find. And sadly, some of the minerals which are desperately needed in my production effort are virtually controlled by China. Well, naturally, with the battle over the tariffs underway, China has decided to cut off American manufacturers from the availability of those critical chemicals. And that means restraining the production in the United States of some very important and worthwhile products. He said to me, what am I supposed to do? And I said, I don't know. I don't know if anybody in this administration has thought through what they have started. We clearly may reach a point soon, and I hope it happens, where Donald Trump says, fine, I want to declare victory, we're going to reverse course, it's going to be business as usual between the United States and the world. I think that's highly unlikely that he'll do it, but anything's possible with this man. This much I do know. The damage Donald Trump has done to the international reputation of the United States is immeasurable. You see the leaders in these countries and what they're saying. They thought that they were close friends and allies of the United States, and now they appear to be adversaries, and there's a strategy underway to punish them. Canada, for goodness sakes, is that what the last election was about? Our relationship with Canada? I consider Canada not only a good neighbor, but a great neighbor, an ally of the United States, and a partner of the United States over and over again when we've engaged in conflict. And to say now that we are virtually in an economic war with Canada is unimaginable. What is going on with this administration? And of course, many other countries as well. The European Union will never be the same in terms of its relationship with the United States. And I can't blame them at all. They're basically saying we cannot trust the United States leadership if Donald Trump can do this to us in a matter of weeks as new president of the United States. We've seen the tariff in China go from 34% to 104%. And the Chinese are going to make us pay for that as they promised they would. I'm not surprised. If the shoe were on the other foot, that's exactly what we would be saying too. You can't push us around. We're a sovereign nation. So what's the difference here between making a speech on the floor of the Senate and actually doing something to impact this tariff war that Donald Trump has started? The difference is four members of the United States Senate on the Republican side. If any four will step forward and say, enough, we have a constitutional opportunity and responsibility when it comes to tariffs and our dealings with foreign countries, and we as four Republicans will join with the Democrats in engaging in a bipartisan discussion of how to go forward from here. If they don't step up, if four Republicans don't step up, then Donald Trump will continue this tariff war at the expense of American business and American workers and American taxpayers and our reputation in the world. That much is at stake. Herbert Hoover signed the Smoot-Hawley law, which imposed tariffs on the world in June of 1930. And then President Hoover went fishing. President Trump signed off on these massive tariffs and went on to play golf at Mar-a-Lago. I don't get it. This is the most serious economic and trade situation we have faced in modern times. Businesses are desperate, looking around how to resolve this in a fashion to keep themselves in business and to employ critical employees. This is a moment when we should be gathering together and talking about specifically where we're headed here. But as I can tell, best I can tell, is that we are putting at risk our constancy, our reliability, and the trust of nations all around the world because of this undertaking. If the Trump tariff tax continues unabated, it's going to destroy this economy, period, end of quote. We are dealing with many people who feel that we are already in a recession or headed to one quickly. Will there be 4 Republicans who will step up and say, stop? We cannot do this without some thoughtful consideration of what impact it's going to have on our economy. If 4 of them will step up in the House and 4 in the Senate, we can make history together on a bipartisan basis and come up with something that's thoughtful and avoids this terrible chaos and the reckless conduct of this administration to date. Mr. President, President Trump has played many roles in his career. He played a billionaire real estate mogul on the hit reality show, The Apprentice. On January 6, 2021, he played a cheerleader, ramping up an angry mob of insurrectionists to storm the United States Capitol. But his latest role may be the most outlandish. He calls himself a doctor. On Thursday, after President's so-called Liberation Day, tariffs took to social media to announce to the world, and I quote, "The operation is over, the patient lived and is healing. The prognosis is that the patient will be far stronger, bigger, better, and more resilient than ever before." That was a report of the President after his so-called Liberation Day of tariffs. The operation in this twisted metaphor, of course, was Trump's tariff tax, a 10% tariff on imports from almost every nation in the world, and the patient is supposed to be the U.S. economy. If this is Dr. Trump's idea of a successful operation, he should be sued for medical malpractice. He's playing a dangerous game, and this Trump tariff tax gambit could push our country into a desperate recession. Small businesses in Illinois, and large ones as well, have reached out to our office, concerned that the uncertainty brought on by this administration could leave them no other choice but to cut jobs due to increased costs. Some have even said their businesses would go under due to these tariffs, their life's work rendered to nothing. Nobody knows what this administration wants to get out of these tariffs. They have yet to specify what they want from other countries. And why would any country want to do business with the United States again if trade agreements can be violated so willfully? After threatening 34% tariff on China, Trump raised it to 104%. And just this morning, China announced a retaliatory 84% tariff on American goods starting tomorrow. This is going to devastate our economy. In Illinois, it will hurt our farmers who export thousands of tons of soybeans, American corn, pork, and more to China. Unsurprisingly, the markets have responded with shock and panic. I know that half of the American people don't own stock or really follow what's happening in the stock market closely, but many do. And this I can say. In the week after Trump's self-destructive announcement, the S&P 500 dropped by nearly 19% from its last high on February 19th, creeping eerily close to bear market territory. Last week's drop wiped out more than $5 trillion of total wealth. Overnight, many Americans watched their retirement accounts plummet. What a sinking feeling to see that happen in such a short period of time. Americans who scrimped and saved their whole working lives for their retirement, who worked multiple jobs and made sacrifices to ensure they would have enough to live comfortably in their golden years, have been stunned by what's happened in just a matter of days with the Trump tariff tax. And add tanking our economy and hurting working families in the process to a long list of inexplicable decisions by this Trump administration. Donald Trump was as bad as a TV real estate mogul. He was as bad as a cheerleader on January 6th, and he's bad as a doctor with his failed Trump tariff tax operation.